What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JPZ on the keys, and it's too easy about the video today. We have another epic history. They just released one 2 days ago. I thank you all for your support, man. We inching close to that 12K, you know what I'm saying? I see y'all. We inching close to that 12K. I feel like we might have it by 2022. I appreciate y'all so much for the support. Like I said, man, I'm sorry I'm not uploading any of my other channels. It's just that, like I said, I'm focusing on getting these finals done. So my last final is on Thursday of this week. So this weekend, next week, and like going into 2022, we're going crazy. I'm gonna have so much more time because I'm not gonna be in school. The uploads are gonna get crazy. I'm gonna try to do every other day on this channel, if not every day on here. I'm gonna do every other day on the gaming channel and the soccer channel. We're gonna do all the other stuff too. But I'm just telling you, this is the only channel I'm uploading on right now until my finals are done. But after that, we're going crazy. You know what I'm saying? After that, we're going crazy. I appreciate y'all for your patience. Thank you for you subscribing. Thank you for you supporting the channel. We got this Belisarius. Happy Monday, by the way. But let's get to it, bro.
534 AD. Flavius Belisarius, Eastern Roman general, has waged one of the most successful campaigns in the empire.
But that man named Flavius, though. Like I know I said it before, but that name Flavius, that's a fire name. I mean, I don't know if you get that to somebody today, but Flavius is a hard name. Like, what's my name? My name Flavius.
History. The complete reconquest of North Africa in just 6 months, almost without loss. He is well rewarded by Emperor Justinian. He celebrates his victory with a triumph in Constantinople and receives the title of consul. Belisarius has helped Justinian's regime survive political crisis. Now his victory offers irrefutable proof of God's divine sanction. Emboldened, Justinian will pursue a new strategic vision, the reconquest of the Western Roman Empire and its reunification. Belisarius's next mission will be to Italy, where he will fight a desperate struggle for the eternal city, Rome itself. First, a big thanks to our video sponsor, Private Internet Access. These days, a VPN is essential for...
Man, y'all gotta let me know, how do I get in with these VPNs, man? I'm trying to get sponsored by a VPN. I've used VPNs before. Yo, I need that VPN plug. I feel like it seems like they handing out bags all day, like NordVPN, Virtual Private Network. It's another VPN. They hand out the bags for the promotions. You gotta let me know, man. Like, come on, man. Like, I need to get in that VPN bag.
60 years have passed since the Western Roman Empire fell to barbarians. Many kings emerged to rule over its shattered remains. Above them all towered Theodoric the Great.
Theodoric?
With Eastern Roman approval, he'd led his Ostrogoth warbands from the Balkans into Italy. He overthrew and killed Odoacer, the man who'd deposed the last Western emperor, and forged his own Goth superstate. Theodoric, an Arian Christian, worked with the Senate in Rome and sought close relations with the Eastern Roman Empire. To Emperor Anastasius, he wrote, "Our royalty is an imitation of yours, modeled on your good purpose, a copy of the only empire."
Respect.
Procopius, the 6th century historian and aide to Belisarius, would himself praise Theodoric as, in name a tyrant, but in fact an emperor, no less than any who've ever distinguished themselves in that office. In the eyes of his supporters, Theodoric had revived the Western Roman Empire, in all but name. But the succession would unravel his great achievement. Theodoric had 3 daughters, so his heir was to have been his son-in-law, Eutharic, but he died 4 years before the king in 522. The succession passed to Theodoric's 10-year-old grandson, Athalaric, His mother, the highly educated and formidable Amalasuntha, ruled as regent.
She was the only one to survive out of the other 3 daughters. Dang, like they killed both of them. She died, then the son died. The son, his grandson was the only one that lived, because the son-in-law died.
In defending her position, Amalasuntha made powerful enemies among the Goths, and when her son died, aged just 18, one of those enemies, her cousin Theodahad, became king.
They just basically picking any male that's related. I mean, obviously, because back then you had to have a male heir, like same thing with the royal family. Like the next male heir was going to be the king. I think it was like a instance where like the prince was like a baby because there were no male heirs or something like that. Man, I don't even want to talk about the royal family with this, the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle situation, because that's a really deep dive into the UK's history of just the royal family's history of just racism, and it sucks.
In 535, he has Amalasuntha imprisoned on an island in the middle of Lake Borsina. Weeks later, assassins arrive. They're rumored to be vengeful relatives of men Amalasuntha had killed during her regency. The daughter of Theodoric the Great is strangled in her bath. Theodahad thinks he can quietly eliminate his rival without repercussions. But Amalasuntha had been a trusted ally of the Emperor Justinian.
That's his cousin. Wait, he killed his own cousin? Oh, nah, but that's his cousin. Isn't the queen his cousin? Hey, yo, family don't mean nothing.
And he is looking for an excuse for war. And the emperor, upon learning what had befallen Amalasuntha, immediately entered upon the war, being in the 9th year of his reign. For Justinian, chaos at the Ostrogoth court presents an opportunity. After success in North Africa, he wants Italy for the empire. The strategic and symbolic gains will be immense. Before her death, Amalasuntha had offered him the kingdom in exchange for political asylum. Now Justinian pressures Theodahad, a notoriously corrupt and greedy man, to accept the same deal or face war.
Ultimatum.
Justinian's tough diplomacy is backed up by military deployments. Mundus, commanding the army in Illyria, advances into Goth-controlled Dalmatia and takes Salona, the modern city of Split. Belisarius, meanwhile, is ordered to sail with 9,000 men to Sicily to see if the Goths there will put up a fight. Only the garrison of Palermo offers resistance, which is soon overcome. The rest of Sicily submits to the Romans without a fight. On the last day of 535, Belisarius marks the end of his consulship, scattering coins to the crowds in Syracuse as his troops march triumphantly through the city. As negotiations continue in the Goth capital Ravenna between Theodahad and Justinian's envoy, Solomon, Praetorian prefect of North Africa, arrives in Sicily with alarming news from Carthage. The army, angered by late pay and religious discrimination, has murdered its officers and mutinied. Belisarius immediately sails for Carthage with just 100 picked men. His own formidable reputation, plus generous handouts of cash, quickly secures the loyalty of 2,000 troops, whom he leads out to face the 9,000 mutineers.
You got to get it by any means. I don't care if you got to bribe the soldiers. You got to get it by any means. Belisarius said, by any means necessary.
The mutineer army is a motley crew of Romans, mercenaries, renegade Vandals, and escaped slaves, commanded by Stotzas, a former Bucellarius. They have no generals, and little discipline. When Stotzas tries to maneuver his army into a better position, it becomes badly disordered. Belisarius immediately launches an all-out attack. Stotzas and his army turn and run. Belisarius has saved Carthage, but the war in North Africa against Berbers and rebels will drag on for 15 more years. This task falls to Solomon, as Belisarius must race back to Sicily to quash another mutiny among his own troops. In the Balkans, meanwhile, a Goth counterattack results in the death of General Mundus, and the Romans make a tactical withdrawal. When news of this minor triumph reaches King Theodahad, he feels suddenly emboldened and rejects all Justinian's demands. Belisarius receives new orders. He is to cross the Strait of Messina and reconquer Italy from the Ostrogoths. Belisarius lands in Italy with barely 8,000 men. The bulk of his troops are infantry, including 3,000 Isaurians, fierce warriors from the Taurus Mountains of Anatolia. His cavalry includes Hun and Berber mercenaries, as well as the elite Bucellari, the picked troops maintained by Belisarius, and other senior commanders. As in North Africa, he is accompanied on campaign by his wife Antonina, a capable and trusted ally of Empress Theodora.
And both of them is real riders. If you've seen the last 2 episodes, they real, you know what I'm saying? They some ride or dies. They definitely some women you should have by your side like that, yeah. Especially Theodora. Theodora is a real one.
That the Emperor entrusts the campaign to such a small force, when the Goths can field an army 4 times its size, indicates Justinian's supreme confidence in Belisarius. But it is also a sign that he has badly underestimated the Goths and their will to fight. Belisarius's army is welcomed by southern Italians and meets no opposition as far as Naples. This city has strong walls and a garrison of 800 Goths. Belisarius appeals directly to its citizens, urging them to throw open the gates and warning of the dire consequences of an assault. I pray that an ancient city which has long been inhabited by Christians and Romans may not meet with such a fortune, especially at my hands as a commander of Roman troops. The citizens of Naples are divided, but ultimately their leaders reject the demand to hand over the city.
Yeah, we're not doing that right.
When Belisarius's troops sneak into the city using an old aqueduct, there is a savage slaughter of Goths and Italian citizens alike, until the general can restore order. The main Ostrogoth army has been standing idle 60 miles to the north. Theodahad, never suited to military command, and now unsettled by omens, does nothing to save Naples. It's his own death sentence. He is deposed and killed. Witigis becomes the new king of the Ostrogoths. He is in his 60s, but he's an experienced soldier who fought alongside Theodoric the Great. He assumes that Belisarius must be leading a large army up from the south, and wants more time to gather his forces. He also plans to negotiate a truce with the Franks, which will free up more troops for the war against the Romans. So, leaving 4,000 men to hold Rome, Witigis withdraws to Ravenna. Belisarius garrisons Naples and advances up the old Roman road, the Via Latina, to Rome. But as he nears the great city, the Goths simply abandon it. They march out through the Porta Flaminia, as Belisarius and his army march in through the Porta Asinaria, a gate which, though much restored, survives to this day. 60 years after the fall of the Western Empire, Rome once more belongs to the Romans. Belisarius duly dispatches the keys to the city to Emperor Justinian. Rome in the 6th century is still a great city, but a shadow of its former glory. In its imperial heyday, Rome's population had been around 500,000. Now it's just a fifth of that. But it remains the seat of the Roman Senate and the Pope, and a city of intense emotional and cultural significance to all Romans. The city is also notoriously difficult to defend, which is why the Goths have abandoned it. The famous Aurelian walls are crumbling, and at 12 miles in length are too long for a small army to easily hold. The Goths had also worried that Rome's large population might turn against them. Belisarius is down to 7,000 men, not enough to face the Goths in open battle. So he sends detachments to garrison key strongholds along the Via Flaminia, the road to Ravenna, which he hopes will delay the inevitable Goth advance. While in Rome, he and his men begin hurried preparations for a siege. The walls are repaired, and merlons are added. A deep moat is dug around the city. The granaries are filled with grain. All Rome's adult male citizens are conscripted into the city guard.
Yeah, Francis, they said we need everybody. They said, I don't care if you 18, you coming, you helping.
Witigis, meanwhile, has been told how small Belisarius' army is. Embarrassed by his earlier caution, he gives the order for his reinforced army to march on Rome.
Of course, why not?
His chief concern is to get there before Belisarius can escape. But Belisarius has no plans to flee. And whoever of you has hopes of setting foot in Rome without a fight is mistaken in his judgment. For as long as Belisarius lives, it is impossible for him to relinquish this city. Such were the words of Belisarius. 537 AD. In early spring, Witigis leads a huge Goth army, probably more than 30,000 men, down the Via Flaminia, sweeping past the small Roman outposts. Belisarius plans to fight a delaying action a mile and a half north of the city, at the Milvian Bridge. But his infantry, terrified by the size of the Goth army, abandon the bridge without a fight. Belisarius is left facing the Goth army with just 1,000 horsemen. He orders his men to charge. Belisarius himself fights in the front rank. Scores of men fall around him. Goth spears finally drive Belisarius and his men back towards the Porta Salaria. At first, its defenders don't recognize Belisarius, covered in dust and gore, and won't let him in. He's forced to launch another desperate charge to drive the Goths back from the walls. Finally, the gate is opened, and he and his men get back into the city. The siege of Rome begins. The city is too large for Witigis to completely surround. He builds 7 fortified camps north of the city and cuts the aqueducts that have supplied Rome with water for 800 years. There will be no baths for the Romans, but the city's wells will still supply drinking water. When Belisarius rejects calls to surrender, the Goths begin building rams, ladders, and siege towers for a major assault. 18 days later, they attack. But their inexperience in siege warfare is soon evident. Their towers are pulled by oxen. The Romans shoot all the animals, and the
Duh! Of course. Oh my goodness.
towers are left stranded. The Goths assault the city from multiple directions. the mausoleum of Hadrian, converted into a fortress, comes under heavy pressure. But eventually, the Goths are thrown back on all fronts. That night, the Romans celebrate a great victory, lighting fires and singing from the battlements. Both sides prepare for a long siege. Belisarius is an inspiring presence in the city, active, calm and confident, even when others begin to despair. He has written to Justinian urgently requesting reinforcements. Now he oversees every aspect of the city's defense and supply. He orders all non-combatants to travel south to Naples, so there are fewer mouths to feed. He has the keys to the gates changed regularly.
Yo, this man Belisarius is not playing. First of all, I seen those siege towers. I've never actually seen those, so it looked like it was like levels, and it was actually soldiers inside the tower. So I guess you would run into the walls, and the soldiers could easily just go over top of the walls without having to go through the door. But I think that's why I seen it. This man said, "If you ain't no soldier, get out." And you know what? Ain't nobody breaking in. I'm changing the locks. He said, "If you ain't fighting, get out." He told them, "Get the freak out." That my man mean business though. I applaud Belisarius. He about his business though. You know what I'm saying? That's what he came to do, to beat the Ostrogoths, and that's what he going to do.
To reduce the risk from treachery, while his Berber mercenaries patrol at night with dogs to detect any surprise attack. His wife, Antonina, also takes an active role. When the Pope is suspected of conducting secret talks with the Goths, she demands, "Tell us, Lord Pope Silverius, what have we done to you and the Romans to make you want to betray us to the Goths?"
You a real one.
The Pope is arrested and sent out of the city.
You a real one.
A month into the siege, Belisarius receives much-needed reinforcements. 1,600 cavalry, mostly Huns and Slavs, led by Martinus and Valerian. Belisarius has seen that the Goths have no mounted archers. Now he can use his own to make hit-and-run attacks against the enemy. A few hundred horsemen will ride within range of the Goths, shower them with arrows, then fall back under covering fire from the city walls. Procopius counts 67 actions of this type, both large and small. Almost all are won by the Romans because of their superior cavalry. The victories raise morale and frustrate the enemy, but they will not break the siege. The situation deteriorates dramatically when the Goths take Portus, Rome's port at the mouth of the river Tiber, making it much more difficult to get supplies into the city. By September, 6 months into the siege, hunger and sickness begin to take hold. Even the army's mules are killed to make sausages.
Damn.
The citizens of Rome beg Belisarius to stake everything on one decisive battle for the city. But he refuses, telling them, "You act as though you were playing dice and want to risk everything on a single roll. But it is not my custom to choose the short course over the best course."
I don't know what y'all talk about. I know how to do it.
Instead, Belisarius sends Antonina and Procopius to Naples, with instructions to use his authority to requisition all grain and every soldier who can be spared, and send both to Rome. 500 men and a convoy of supplies are soon rolling up the Via Appia. They're followed by 1,800 cavalry reinforcements, who land at Dryas, modern Otranto. Then 3,000 Isaurians arrive at Naples aboard grain ships and travel on to Ostia by sea. After months of delay, the vast resources of the Eastern Roman Empire are finally coming to Belisarius's aid.
Let's go.
The garrison of Rome launch a series of diversionary attacks on the Goths. These allow the supplies, under Antonina's direction, to slip into the city.
Hey, smart.
The threat of starvation is ended. It's the last straw for Witigis. His own men have been camped outside Rome for almost a year, harassed by the enemy, themselves decimated by disease and hunger. The Ostrogoth king asks for a truce, to open negotiations with the emperor. He offers Justinian all of southern Italy, but it is not enough. The initiative has swung to Belisarius. Belisarius has sent an elite force of 2,000 cavalry, commanded by John, north into Picenum, behind enemy lines. When the Goths break the terms of the truce, Belisarius orders John to unleash hell. Almost all the Goth warriors are away on military service. Their farms and settlements are completely exposed.
Oh no! Oh my god! Yo, this man, that's some savagery. While they are away fighting, we gonna send a secret force to their homes and to where they live at in their farms and just burn and destroy everything. So if they don't die in combat, they come back to nothing. That's so sick, bro. That's savage, bro. That's extremely savage. He said either you die or you gonna come back and be homeless with no crops, no nothing. Probably your family gonna get killed too, because I'm sure their wives and children stay back there. They're probably gonna kill them too. That's crazy.
John sacks, burns and plunders at will, enslaving hundreds of Goth women and children.
Oh, even worse, enslaving your wife and child. Whoa. Dang, you come back and your wife and son are sold into slavery. Dang, that's crazy.
Romans are not armed. Witigis' uncle gathers a small force to challenge John. They're no match for his Bucellari.
No.
John ignores the Goth strongholds at Urbino and Auximum, but at the invitation of its citizens, occupies the walled city of Ariminum, just 30 miles south of the Ostrogoth capital at Ravenna. Witigis has no choice but to abandon the siege and march north to defend the Goth heartland. Against the odds, under-resourced and outnumbered, Belisarius has triumphed in one of history's most epic sieges. A siege that has lasted 1 year and 9 days. Because of him, the city of Romulus and the Caesars once more belongs to the Roman Empire. The war against the Goths in Italy seems to be entering its final phase. Belisarius' position appears unassailable. But, as every emperor knows, the history of the empire has been blighted time and again by the treachery of overmighty generals. Belisarius' victories are as glorious as any in Rome's history. How can Justinian not regard him with suspicion? Soon, Belisarius will find himself facing new rivals from within the empire.
Dang.
Just as an old enemy re-emerges in the east.
Alright, so now I've learned a siege is basically where the enemy is camped in like some type of area that they're like dug in, and the other troops are outside like waiting they're camped, and they literally launch attacks at each other every day. For some reason, Justinian is suspicious of how he's winning these battles when you should be happy that he's winning you these battles, but that's crazy though. While they're in the siege, this man Belisarius sent troops back to their city to burn their crops, loot the stores, plunder everything, and enslave the women and children. Jeez, you already destroyed. You're already distraught because you lost the battle. Now you come back and your wife and son are in slavery and your crops are burned and your house is burnt down. That's... Anyway, thank you again for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button again. Again, bear with me, man. These finals week, you know what I'm saying? All I would like, just give me a like and just wish your boy good luck on these finals. I got one tomorrow and I got one Thursday. So wish your boy good luck. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate y'all so much. Please be safe. Have a great day. Stay on the grind. I'm out. Peace.